Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't guessed it already, today's video is something a little bit different, but it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a very long time now.
Lights, camera, action, ayy. I'm smoking that dope from Edmond. We the new meth in Redmond. We ain't real blood, but we brethren. Run up a check and it's pending.
So if you don't follow me on Instagram, then you won't know, but I am what you might call a fitness influencer. It is my job, it is my passion, and I am honestly just so grateful to be able to do the thing that I love every single day as a job. But what I've come to realise is that there is not a lot of information and support for a lot of us girls out there who actually have lost our periods, and it did happen to me. It happened to me for 18 months, and I just wanted to share my experience and what I basically did to get it back. Now, firstly, I want to say that I am in no way qualified to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. Obviously, I am a personal trainer. I also have a degree in human biology, but that saying, I am not qualified to tell you what you should be doing. I just purely want to do this video to maybe help some of you who may be struggling in silence and are looking for some help on what to do. I know firsthand like how worrying it can be. So hopefully you find this video a little bit helpful, and if I can help just one of you, then that is my job done. So when I was 15 years old, I got my first boyfriend. We started sleeping together, and I was worried because I obviously didn't want to get pregnant. I was underage, so I went to like the local walk-in clinic, and the first thing that they just basically offered to me and gave me was the pill. The first pill I went on was microgynon, and I was on that honestly religiously until I was 22 years old. I was on it from 15 to 22. I had no clue what my life was like without it. It just seemed normal to me. I broke up with this boyfriend, I think when I was like 17. Went to school, went to sixth form, got another boyfriend, and we stayed together for like 2-3 years. I was with him until I went to university, and then we broke up in our first year. I don't know why this is turning into like a relationship story, but I feel like it sets the scene. So yeah, we broke up in my first year of uni, and then I didn't have a boyfriend for like whole of like first year and then part of second year. Second year I got another boyfriend, which is my ex-boyfriend now. We were together like 3-4 years, and again I was on the pill all throughout university. I didn't want to stop it because I was like so scared. I was just like unsure on like how my body would be. Like to me, I wasn't having like any symptoms, or nothing was really going wrong in my body or what I knew of. So I just thought, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. And obviously the thing I liked the most was that I can control when I was going to have my period, and if I didn't want it, then I just didn't have to have it, and that was the beauty of it. So anyways, uni finished, I graduated, moved back home. A few months later, this boyfriend actually moved back home with me, and we started living together. But before this, like, I'd been a bit worried. I still like liked him in the same way, but I was just very, I can't really describe it, but basically I just didn't want to have sex. I just wasn't interested at all, and I was trying to like tell him without offending him in a really, like, without offending him, but it was just really hard to like come across. And you know when you just don't really understand yourself, like why you feel like that. Like, obviously like we're trying stuff, but I just really like wasn't interested whatsoever. My mood swings were awful. Like honestly, I was so sad. Like one day I'd be depressed and crying, the next day I'd be fine, the next day I'd be like angry, and it just honestly wasn't me. Like I'm such a happy person, and I just went through like this emotion of like feeling just awful. And I remember speaking to a friend, and she was like, Ellie, like maybe you should come off the pill, like you've literally been on it for like years. And I just remember saying, yeah, but I'm fine on it, like I've been on it for ages, like it's fine. And yeah, then suddenly, you know when like someone says something and it sort of like resonates with you, and then you start doing like your own like research about it, and the more I like researched about it, the more I was like, do you know what, like maybe I should have a break, like maybe it is this, but obviously I just don't know. And I remember like asking the doctors, like when you go for like more pills, like obviously you have to check your blood pressure and stuff. I remember asking them like, is it dangerous for me to be on this pill for like this long? Like I've never come off it, I've never gone on to a different pill, like should I be swapping pills? Should I not be on this pill? And they were honestly like, no, it's fine, it's literally fine. And I just said, I was like, you know, I've got like my libido, like libido is where you lose like your sex drive. And I said that, I was like, I'm just not interested. And they were like, maybe is it something to do with your relationship? Like, are you sure this person's for you? And they made me like question that. And at the time, like, I was literally fine with my boyfriend. So it sort of put a bit of stress on like the relationship. And changed pills. I went to like one called Yasmin. It was fine, but then I actually got the worst breakout in my entire life. They then put me on another pill where you don't have a break. That was probably the worst pill I've ever taken. Honestly, the effects I had were horrendous. Like, I don't get spots. My face was so oily and greasy, and I was probably my most moodiest that I've ever been. So quickly stopped that, and after that I was like, do you know what? I need to stop this. I need to like just go by myself, and I need to like stop taking this. And I told my boyfriend, I was like, do you know what? I was like, I'm stopping this. I'm not taking this stupid pill anymore. We can just like have safe sex other ways. I started to like slowly notice that my mood was like getting better after, I'd say like 2-3 months, but I didn't have a period. It was, at first, I was like, this is great. Like, I'm not having a period. Like, this is great. And I spoke to my sister about it, and she was like, no, it's fine. Like, it happened to me. You just got to wait for your body to, like, sink. I was, like, patiently waiting. Had a really good summer with my best friend. We went away loads. I spent a lot of time in London, and at the time, I was living in Kent. And that's where my boyfriend was now living as well. I actually realised that I did really like him. Like, he was basically like my best friend, but I just had to be honest, and I was like, actually, I think like since university we had like grown apart, like we were just so different now. I had to be really honest with myself, and we actually decided to go our separate ways. So we split up because it wasn't what it was, and I'd grown up like so much. See, you know, when you also like lose your passion to like want to like sleep with someone and share like that kind of relationship, it also just sort of, I think it just sort of just crumbled a bit. And like I said, like I just changed so much as a person. I just grew up so much. We actually still speak, like we're still friends, so all good there. Yeah, so that happened. I still didn't have a period. I had a wicked summer, went away. Obviously at the time I was like, this is great. Like, I'm not having a period. I can go on holiday. Don't have to worry about that at all. And then winter came, and I started to feel like a little bit worried, because I was like, it's winter, like surely it's gonna come now, like it's been a few months. And at the time, my best friend was actually going through the same thing, and we'd like message, like, I don't know, like every now and again talking about it, being like, oh, like, has yours come back? And she'd be like, no. And then I remember hers came back, and I was like, shit, like, why has hers come back but mine hasn't? So that happened, and then like a few months later, this was like now like March time, I remember like going out shopping to the mall and seeing this like adorable baby. Like, normally when I see babies I'm like, oh my god, it's like so cute, but I remember seeing this baby and just thinking like really differently. I was like, shit, like I can't have that right now. Like, I cannot have a child at the moment, because like even if I wanted to, which I obviously didn't, but like even if I wanted to, I could not have a child, because physically I couldn't conceive. Like, my body wasn't producing eggs, I wasn't having periods, and it started to get like quite bad. Like, my dad's girlfriend's son had at the time quite a young baby, and he used to like come around a lot, and the more I'd like spend time with him, the more I'd be like concerned that like I actually might not be able to have children when I'm older. And it started to get quite worrying, and I think it's only when I like started to worry that I started to do like a lot more research into it, into like what I should do and like the negative impacts of it. And yeah, it was then when I was like, no, like I need to do something about this now, because whatever I'm doing is not working. It's like my period's not coming back, and it's been like 18 months. So anyways, I did a lot of research and stuff, and what I found was like a lot of people were like, you need to like stop exercising, you need to eat more, you need to reduce your stress. quite like obviously a lot like that. And when someone tells you that, you're like, yeah, but my life is exercising. Like, I'm a PT, that's my life, that's my job, so I can't just stop that. And in regards to like eating more, like obviously as a girl, like it's so worrying to then be told, like after you've like worked so hard to achieve like the body that you've got, that you actually need to eat more and need to put on weight, because that's actually stopping your body's ability to reproduce. So that was like the main thing. So what did I do? So after obviously doing a lot of research and talking to people, I decided that I really needed to get it back. I needed to make a change because it just wasn't healthy for my body. As much as I loved not having periods, I just think that at that time I was like, oh, it's only for a few months. But actually when it got to 18 months, I was like, yeah, that's an issue. And obviously this had all come from the pill. Like, this was because I was told it was fine to be on the pill for this amount of time. And I think this will be in a separate YouTube, but I just want to say that it is not natural for your body to be on synthetic hormones for that amount of time. And I think like it was just because it was just thrown at me when I was so young, I was just like forced into thinking that that was the only way. And I really regret it honestly so much, because being on the pill can have so many negative impacts. Like, yes, it's beneficial for like if you're trying to like if you don't want to get pregnant, like yes, that is a good thing. And yes, I know it has also potential benefits, like if you've got PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, or endometriosis, which again is another problem relating to like the tissue, the lining of your womb. Again, that's another video. But yeah, so today I basically just wanted to tell you what I did to get my period back and what I would recommend. And I just hope that this honestly like helps some of you, and that some of you like resonate with my story. So anyways, okay, so the first thing that I found was that I needed to reduce my stress from both my personal life and my my life as in like my training life. So at the time I was severely stressed. I had a lot of uni work, I had a lot of actual work. My relationship with my best friend actually broke down. My ex-boyfriend was obviously moving out, and I went through all that for a while. Obviously a lot, you know, that wouldn't be over in like a month or so, like that was a long process. There was a lot of like stress personally in my life, so I was trying to reduce that. I know that is really hard, but you know, the things that I did was take more time for myself, go on like walks, like try and do like mindfulness, like listen to podcasts, make sure I was getting enough sleep a night. So you should be getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep. My Fitbit, oh not my Fitbit, sorry, but your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, whatever, obviously can record this. But yeah, sleep is so important when it comes to like your body's stress and how you also respond to it. So that would be my first port of call. The second was obviously the stress from training. Now at the time I was an avid CrossFitter. I loved CrossFit. Now if you don't know, CrossFit is super intense. It's so hard on the body, like it's so physically demanding. I was doing it like 4 or 5 times a week, and my diet probably wasn't the right diet to support this level of training. So I needed to reduce that. So what I did was, instead of going 4 or 5 times a week, I went 2 or 3 times. I also tried to not like exhaust myself all the time. In the time on the other days where I trained, I made sure that it was like purely like weightlifting, nothing too intense. What I have found is that actually a lot of HIIT training, which is very demanding on the body, is really bad if you are trying to reduce that stress. So what I would recommend is sticking to like low intensity steady state. Go on like walks, go on a nice jog, like try and relax. Don't sort of pound yourself with those high intensity sessions. Like yes, HIIT is good for getting your heart rate up and fat burning, but you're still gonna burn the same amount of calories if you're so basically the difference between HIIT and LISS is that LISS obviously just takes a bit longer, but it's less stressful on the body, and your body takes less time to recover from it, whereas HIIT is very demanding on the body, and your body takes a longer time to recover. So what they say is that you shouldn't be doing more than 2 HIIT sessions a week. At the time I wasn't really doing any HIIT, it was just a lot of CrossFit. So if you're doing that, definitely stop that and try and do something else instead. Even something like, I don't know, like cycling or playing tennis, or just find something else that you can do instead of doing all those HIIT sessions. I feel like HIIT is just drummed into us as being like fat loss and like the only thing to do for fat loss, and it definitely isn't. Like, it's just one of the things that you can do, and to be honest, like actually a lot of HIIT is quite bad on like your joints. Obviously I don't want to go into that in this video. So yes, they're the first two things that I did, reduce my stress. The second was, the third that I had to do was look at my diet. So I had been dieting, bulking, cutting, you name it, for like however many years. I was never like seriously on low calories at all. To be honest, like my calories never really went under, I'd say like 1700, maybe like 1600. Obviously over a period of time, this has an impact on the body. Some girls are more susceptible to this than others. So what I did is I made sure that I increased my calories to at least maintenance so that I wasn't in a deficit. And yes, like this may sort of cause you to be a little bit more watery, so a little bit more bloated, because obviously if you're increasing your carbs, you're increasing the water retention. So carbs hold water, so when you increase them you will feel a little bit more watery. But what you have to understand is, yes, you might feel watery, yes, you might feel a bit more bloated, but this is only temporary. You're not going to lose your hard-earned progress. Yes, you might be slightly less leaner, but I promise you it will be worth it, because you do not want to be without your period for a long duration of time. Periods are, we need them as women, we need them to produce. If we're not having a period, then we're not ovulating and we're not releasing an egg and we can't reproduce. So without our periods, we are more prone to things like osteoporosis when we're older, which is where our bone density obviously reduces, and then we're more prone to like things like fractures. So it's super important that you do get your period back and you do everything to get it back. And then lastly, what I did look at was my macronutrient split. So obviously your macros are your proteins, your carbs and your fats. And there has been evidence to suggest that an increase in dietary fats can support menstruation in females. What I did was just have more fats in my diet than I would have done before. So obviously you can get these from like healthy sources such as like avocados, nuts. So yeah, I increased my fat intake and obviously increased my calories. I would say, to be honest, that like evidence is conflicting when it's like, when it comes to supporting increasing your dietary fats. I think the main thing that you need to understand is that it's not just the fats, it is the total calories. So if you are without your period, the main things that you need to do, in summary, from personal experience, is to decrease your stress from your personal life. So make sure you're getting enough sleep. Decrease your training stress. So if you're doing a lot of HIIT training or a lot of intense cardio, try to decrease that to at least 2 times a week, if not less. Try to not stress yourself out when it comes to training. I personally feel that like weight training is fine, and I think it's like great to have that. Obviously it's great for like our muscle building and like bone health. I personally believe that that's fine as long as it's not stressing you out. Then also you need to look at your diet. So obviously get your calories up to at least maintenance level, and to work that out, all you need to do is take your body weight in pounds roughly and times it by 14 to 15. So 14 would be if you're not very active, 15 if you're a bit more active, and then you could even times it by 16 if you're very active, and this will give you a rough estimate of your maintenance calories. So eat at least maintenance, increase your fat consumption, which is, like I said, there's evidence for and against that, but I don't see any harm in doing it at all. I definitely did that and I feel it helped me. And actually a diet higher in fats, I personally feel is better for me. Like I feel like my body responds better to it. I'm less bloated, I don't retain as much water. Some people, obviously I think like dietitians and nutritionists will recommend like supplements and stuff like that, and there are probably benefits to that, but you know, I'm not qualified in that, so I don't really want to give any advice when it comes to that. Yeah, those would be my main tips in getting your period back. And the thing I want to say is, if you don't have your period at the moment and you haven't had it for a while, don't panic about it. Like, don't stress, because that's going to be stopping it from coming back even more. You need to not think about it. Do the things that will help you get it back, like the things I've suggested. Obviously, go see a dietitian, go see a nutritionist, go see your GP, check that there's obviously nothing else underlying, and then do all you can to get it back. And yes, not having a period is nice, but in future you will honestly regret it if you don't try and get that period back. So I hope that helped just one of you. If you like this video, please let me know, and obviously if you want any help or advice in anything with fitness, or just someone to talk to in regards to like your periods and stuff, then please just message me. Obviously my Instagram account, I will reply to you as soon as I can. My Instagram is Eleanor_fit. If you are interested, I will do a video on the pill and what I think about it. I have actually I'm gonna leave that for another video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're well, and I will see you soon.